Wildfires ignite in Colorado, putting homes in danger and threatening the airport and everyone inside in Colorado Springs.
People just need to be safe out there.
The alerts about those fires reaching into the metro.
Colorado motto, be prepared for any and all weather.
Why people all the way in Douglas County got the warning.
Are you ready for some football? The Broncos returning to prime time. Tonight, their biggest matchups, including one you don't want to miss on Denver 7.
And we begin tonight with wildfires igniting across southern Colorado as we deal with warm, dry, and windy conditions.
The firefighters in the southern half of the state particularly busy today. And Teller County commissioners declared a local disaster as fire forces evacuations west of Cripple Creek.
Meanwhile, crews in Colorado Springs, boy, they had their hands full today battling multiple fires. The first fire forced 500 families to evacuate on the city's west side, and those evacuations have been lifted. Minutes later, another fire ignited at a mobile home park near Garden of the Gods, destroying several homes.
And if that weren't scary enough, another fire forced a shelter-in-place order at the Colorado Springs airport. And tonight we are bringing you team coverage of what has been an active day.
We begin with Denver 7's Colette Bordelon live in Colorado Springs with what we are learning caused that fire near the airport. Colette?
Kind of a shocking cause out here today, Ann, but then again, something you might have been able to predict with the conditions we've been seeing in our state. Right now, we're just off of Powers, a little bit past the Colorado Springs airport. You can see some firefighters are out here behind me. They're cleaning up whatever could be left of this fire tonight, which they say is around 15% contained. But if you look at this field, this is where the majority of the fire burned, and you see this tall grass out here. That's one of the big problems that led to this fire, which firefighters are saying was started by an El Paso County Sheriff's deputy car who was originally dispatched to this area after reports of a suspicious vehicle. They drove through tall grass to get to that car and got stuck. Firefighters believe the catalytic converter got too hot on the grass, starting the fire, which moved really fast today because of the wind. It's estimated to have burned almost 200 acres, evacuating about 50 homes. Those have been lifted. Everyone can come home tonight. But still, when you talk to the people who had to rush out of their homes, they instantly think of fires that have happened in the past here, like the Waldo Canyon fire. That burned more than 300 homes.
It had the flashbacks from the west side with, the fire up in Mountain Shadows and stuff like that. And I thought, well, geez, now it's going to happen on this side.
Now, that shelter in place that the airport was under, there were around 200 people there at the time. It's been lifted now, and inbound flights can land there again. We're live in the Springs tonight. Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
All right, Colette, thank you. And there were no wildfires today in Douglas County, but for a period of time, residents might have thought differently.
That's because alerts were sent to dozens of people, dozens of miles away, far from any real danger here. Denver 7's CB Cotton explains why they got these alerts. CB?
And Shannon, this happened because El Paso County uses a wireless alert system through FEMA. In short, it's based on your location and it operates like Amber Alerts. So emergency officials say there's always some chance that more people will be notified than what's needed, but that's not always a bad thing.
We were here at the house and we heard the alert go off on my daughter's phone.
The alert warning residents of a fire near Stetson Hills Boulevard in eastern Colorado Springs. But Sean Settle and her family live near Kiowa, which is roughly 40 miles away from the area.
Well, when I read the alert, I knew where we lived, so I knew we were pretty safe.
Others who received similar alerts didn't know, and fire agencies from Falcon, Douglas County, and Elbert County quickly took to social media to let people know the evacuations were for areas in El Paso County.
They didn't do anything wrong. It's just the way that system is built.
A system his dispatchers use too, and it's called IPAWS, which stands for Integrated Public Alert and Warning System. Tim Johnson, director of Douglas County Office of Emergency Management, says when agencies launch an IPAWS alert, it's because a fire is moving quick.
If it looks like a particular situation is growing and expanding, then we'll go to the IPAWS system. It tends to spill over into other jurisdictions, like what happened today. Not unlike what would happen if we were to launch an IPAWS. It would probably spill over into potentially Arapahoe County or on the south end, maybe into El Paso County.
Johnson says while the system may notify people who aren't affected by a natural disaster, it's always used to save lives.
It's out of an abundance of caution that we want folks to know hey, there's an event going on, we want you to be aware. And if you're in that area, we want you to evacuate and be safe.
Colorado motto, be prepared for any and all weather. And that includes, unfortunately, fire season, which has gotten really bad here.
So true. Well, emergency officials in Douglas County and several other counties in the state also use another system called Code Red, and that allows them to get really specific and alert people in certain neighborhoods and specific streets. Reporting live tonight, I'm CB Cotton for Denver 7.
All right, CB, thank you. And as we've been saying, a big factor in all these fires has been the wind.
For weeks now, it seems as if we can't get a break from these gusty conditions. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson is joining us to explain why this is happening. Mike?
That's all I hear is, why is it so windy and dry? Well, you can trace it all the way back 3,000 miles away into the central Pacific Ocean, where we have a La Nina. That's cooler surface water, and that changes the energy in the atmosphere and affects the position of the jet stream. And so what typically happens with a La Nina is the jet stream tends to blow from the northwest to the southeast. It favors the northern states with precipitation. We get wind here in Colorado and across the plains. Here's the current jet stream flow right at the moment. You can see those strong winds just rocketing across Colorado, especially during the day when we get some mixing in the atmosphere. That brings a lot of that momentum right down to the surface and gives us the very gusty winds. And this has been going on all season long. And notice the storm track. Everything is off to the north and east of us. We're missing those moist storms because they're too far north and they just come racing through, not allowing us to get any meaningful moisture. Hence the drought conditions that we have all across the region. Look at the difference out here where that jet stream scoops up more moisture and they get a whole lot of rain in the Great Lakes and across the east. Is this going to change? Not much. 30-day forecast still wetter than average. And note that follows that jet stream pattern. We are in the drier than average conditions, and it doesn't look like we're going to get much help as far as cooler weather either. This is the 30-day forecast. This is the 90-day forecast for the season, and for precipitation, it looks like it's going to hold drier than average. So with that, we're going to have a long fire season. We have the wind, the heat, and the dryness, and the extended forecast doesn't look like much of a change.
Now tonight, North Metro firefighters are sharing what they're seeing as they help battle a wildfire in New Mexico. The Calf Canyon Hermit's Peak fire has now consumed nearly 260,000 acres between Angel Fire and Las Vegas. North Metro fire crews sent these photos showing the intense smoke that hotshot crews there are facing. The fire is expected to spread, and mandatory evacuations are in place in 4 northern New Mexico counties.
The star player for the Broncos spending the night in jail. The wide receiver JEUDY was booked into the Arapahoe County Jail today on second-degree criminal tampering with a domestic violence enhancer. According to an affidavit, the mother of JEUDY's child told police JEUDY put her wallet and child's medical paperwork in his car and refused to give them to her. She said she just wanted her items back, didn't want JEUDY to get into trouble. But JEUDY told police he took those items because the woman would not give him his cell phone back. Investigators say there was no physical violence here.
It solely involved property. There was no damage to property. All that happened is that there was an accusation that property was being withheld, and deputies determined that there was enough probable cause to make an arrest.
JEUDY will appear in court tomorrow. The Broncos say they are aware of the situation, and according to Colorado state statute, the charge JEUDY is facing means a person allegedly tampers with another person's property with the intent to cause injury, inconvenience, or annoyance. The domestic violence enhancer would potentially increase the penalty if JEUDY is charged and convicted.
And JEUDY's arrest comes on the same day the Broncos learn their schedule, and there is a big game right off the bat. Week 1, the Broncos travel to Seattle for a Monday night showdown against the Seahawks. You'll be able to watch it right here on Denver 7, and it'll be a homecoming for new Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson, who spent the first 10 years of his career in Seattle. It'll also be a chance for former Broncos QB Drew Lock and Noah Fant to get some revenge for shipping them off. Hopefully not. That Week 1 showdown is the first of 5 primetime games for the Broncos this season. That includes 2 Monday night games, a pair of Sunday night games, and 1 Thursday night matchup. And Lionel will break down the rest of the schedule. That's coming up later on in sports.
We have an update tonight on the tragic death of a little girl in Frederick. Today, the Adams County Sheriff confirmed this little girl is the daughter of one of their deputies. Officers were called Sunday morning to a report of a shooting inside a home, and 3-year-old Avery Escom was taken to the hospital where she died. The Weld County coroner has not said how she died, only that it's under investigation. Today, the Adams County Sheriff told Denver 7 Avery is the daughter of Sergeant Breck Brett Escom and called the loss of his daughter immeasurable.
A Colorado school administrator is under investigation tonight for possession of child porn. The Brush Police Department in Morgan County says officers were conducting a sexting investigation when they learned the employee was unlawfully collecting pornographic images of juveniles. Police say that was happening while school staff conducted an in-house investigation into the matter. Now, the employee has not been identified. It's not clear if the person's been arrested. According to the Fort Morgan Times, that employee has been placed on leave.
Well, a man's facing 16 charges tonight for a series of incidents that ended with police shooting at him. Police say Trenton Dunham was involved in a number of crimes overnight in Greeley, including shooting into a car and a house. About 6 o'clock this morning, police say he carjacked a truck in Broomfield.
He got rear-ended, and so he had just got out of the car, and somebody took their gun and whacked him. I think he got whacked on the head.
Just minutes later, Boulder police received reports of a vehicle being driven on the Pearl Street Mall. Well, they say Dunham led police on a chase and at one point driving on a sidewalk heading for a bus stop. Police say when Dunham pointed a gun at them, officers fired, although they didn't hit him. Dunham was taken into custody after police disabled his vehicle near Table Mesa and Highway 36. No officers, no bystanders were injured during all this.
The Age of Armor.
We have ancient objects from 600 BCE all the way up into the early 20th century.
We're taking you behind the scenes of a brand new exhibit opening this weekend.
Generosity in action.
It will make an impact not only on Miles, but on all kids with special needs.
Denver 7 viewers help one family get closer to their dream.
Plus, the Avs wait to find out who they'll play next.